The mayor of Amsterdam has been causing an uproar with the proposal of the location of an erotic center. The center is meant to serve as an alternative to the famous red light district. We'll have 100 window brothels, while red light will lose 100. The aim is to move hedonist activities outside the city center and away from residents. But the location has upset people who would live and work near the center. The EU Medical Agency has an office near the proposed spot, which is Europe Boulevard, and they've told the press they were upset and worried about the location. But the location has not been finalized yet. The city council has to debate it. If it does get approved by the city council, it will take 7 years to build the facility. So the Amsterdam city government has been taking a more balanced approach to tourism in recent years. It's because the city has been somewhat of a victim of its own tourism success that it somewhat crafted. For a long time, Amsterdam was promoting itself aggressively, and it succeeded as a fun and let loose destination. Though, I mean, the famous "I am Amsterdam" sign was part of their promotional activities over the last few decades, and it's now one of the most visited destinations in the world. I think number 7 or 8 or so, according to the World Tourism and Travel Council. But the success has hurt the quality of life for locals. People have been priced out of their apartments because landlords are renting them out to tourists instead of locals. Businesses are opening up and they're more catering the tastes of tourists over locals. For example, a lot of pancake shops are open up more so to service the people who get high. And there are also more coffee shops popping up to service this clientele. So the city became more oriented toward the drugs, sex, and let loose lifestyle that tourists come for. And it's become a frustration for a lot of the locals. I mean, one resident, a 30-year resident, told me that life has been going downhill in Amsterdam over his lifetime in the city. So now Amsterdam is trying to swing the other way when it comes to tourism. It barely does any advertising or marketing. You don't see them at the trade events. They don't make a splash or noise. If it does marketing, it wants to attract a higher quality tourist, one that's more interested in Amsterdam's culture and history, and not necessarily in its let loose image that people have in their heads. In its recent campaign, the tourism board highlighted the different phases of Amsterdam and the diversity of the city, not the let loose side that people are so familiar with, not the canals, not the traditional forms that people know of the city. So it really wants to attract a different type of visitor, not the let loose people. So it wants people to not just come there who are going to make a nuisance, who just want that for the drugs and to have sex. So the mayor is trying to do the side of pushing people away as well, and trying to get party tourists to not come, make sure they're not welcomed. And a part of that is a lot of them come for the red light district, where it's the place where anything goes, essentially. It's a place to let loose. Guys often go there to have their bachelor parties or to just hang out and try, get some action with the sex workers there. They'll hang out around, get drunk, high, someone commit crimes, be loud, obnoxious, and it'll be a nuisance for locals. And this behavior spills out to other parts of the city, and locals and residents don't really like that all that much. So, there's also the aspect a lot of tourists come who just want to stop and stare as well when they go to the red light district. It's an attraction in itself for tourists who want to go and stare at the windows and see the women standing in there. It's also they crowd up the streets as well. And so earlier this year, the mayor launched a campaign called Stay Away. It was an ad campaign trying to deter men from the UK between the ages of 18 and 35 from coming to Amsterdam to party. It reminded them of the punishments they'd get if they arrived. It reminded them that the city is not meant as a playground for their activities. They started with the UK, and they're going to try and do it all over Europe. But the thing is, unfortunately, it did not work. And the mayor admitted that in a letter to the city council. They're going to try and refine it, but they're really going to continue to push harder on this image that Amsterdam is not a place to hang out, to let loose. It's a place for the culturally minded, historically interested folk, not the party kind.